In the early hours of morning, 10-year-old Liam stood in front of his makeshift lemonade stand in the sleepy town of Meadowville. With steady hands, he placed a pitcher of freshly made lemonade, a stack of paper cups, and a mason jar labeled in shaky handwriting, "For Mom's Life." His small, worn-out table seemed barely sturdy enough to hold the weight of the pitcher, but Liam didn't mind. Liam's mom, Emily, had been sick for months now, and the doctor's grim diagnosis echoed in his mind: aggressive condition, high-cost treatment. Every day he saw his mom grow weaker. Her once vibrant face had grown pale, and her movements were slower, more labored. The sound of her trying to hide her fear when she spoke on the phone to family made his heart ache. Liam knew things were getting bad. They didn't have enough money for the treatment Emily needed. He overheard his mom telling her sister that they might not be able to afford it. But Liam couldn't let that happen. He had to do something. After days of thinking, he came up with the idea. He would sell lemonade. It wasn't much, but it was something. And maybe, just maybe, it could help raise enough money for her treatment. So, every morning, Liam woke up early, squeezed lemons, mixed the sugar into the water, and set up his stand on the corner of their street. It wasn't easy. At first, only a few neighbors stopped by. They'd buy a cup for $1, pat him on the head, and offer a few words of encouragement. "You're a good boy, Liam," they'd say, but their change barely made a dent in the jar. He counted the money each night, watching it grow by a few dollars, but it never seemed close enough to what they needed. Still, Liam didn't stop. Every cup of lemonade he sold, every dollar that filled the jar, brought him closer to his goal. He knew it wasn't enough yet, but he couldn't give up. For his mom, he had to keep going. Days turned into weeks. Liam's stand became a familiar sight. The small crowd of regular customers grew steadily, though not fast enough. Neighbors started stopping by more often, and a few people even donated without taking lemonade. His efforts began to attract attention. One afternoon, a reporter from the Meadowville Gazette walked by, intrigued by the story of the young boy selling lemonade to help his sick mom. The reporter asked Liam for a quick interview, and before he knew it, the town was buzzing with talk of the boy's lemonade stand. The next day, the article appeared in the newspaper with the headline, "A boy's love for his mom inspires a town." It was a simple story, but it caught the attention of more people. More strangers began stopping by. Liam watched with wide eyes as a few families from outside the neighborhood purchased lemonade. Their faces showed concern, admiration, and a hint of hope. Despite the growing support, the donations still weren't enough. Liam would count the bills and coins late into the night, his small hands trembling as he added up the total. It always felt like he was so far from his goal, but he couldn't stop. He couldn't let his mom down. As he poured cup after cup, he kept telling himself that every dollar, every cup sold was a step closer. Some days when business was slow, Liam felt disheartened, but he would always find a reason to keep going. His mom needed him and he couldn't give up. Not now. Not ever. One warm afternoon, as Liam sat by his stand, pouring lemonade into yet another paper cup, a dusty black SUV pulled up to the curb. The engine idled as a tall, lean man in a cowboy hat stepped out. The man's weathered face looked kind, and his piercing eyes scanned the street before landing on Liam's stand. "Hey there," the man called out with a warm, deep voice as he walked over. "Hi," Liam greeted, trying to sound cheerful. "It's $1 for one cup or two for $1.50. The man grinned, tipping his hat. "Two it is, then." Liam poured the lemonade into 2 cups, his hands trembling slightly. As he handed the cups over, the man's eyes fell on the mason jar labeled, "For Mom's Life." "For your mom, huh?" he asked, his voice softening. Liam nodded, a lump forming in his throat. "She's really sick. I'm trying to raise money for her treatment." The man studied him for a moment, his gaze intense yet gentle. He seemed to recognize something in the boy's eyes. "What's your name, kid?" "Liam," he answered, his voice barely above a whisper. "Well, Liam," the man said, kneeling slightly to meet his eyes. "You're a good son. My name's Clint." Liam blinked, his heart racing. "Clint? Like Clint Eastwood?" The man smiled. That's me. Liam's jaw dropped. Clint Eastwood, the famous actor, was standing right in front of him at his lemonade stand. It took a moment for the realization to sink in, and a wave of excitement spread through the small crowd that had gathered nearby. People started whispering, pulling out their phones to take pictures. The legend himself was here. Clint took a seat on the curb, sipping his lemonade and asking Liam about his mom, his life, and why he started the lemonade stand. Liam told him about the doctors, the treatments, and the hope he clung to. Clint listened intently, nodding as Liam spoke, his eyes reflecting both admiration and sympathy. After finishing his lemonade, Clint stood up, his face serious. Liam, how would you like some help? Liam blinked, unsure of what he meant. Help. Clint smiled, pulling out his phone. Let's see if we can get more people to hear your story. With a few quick taps on the screen, Clint took a picture of Liam beside the lemonade stand, the mason jar prominently displayed. He posted it to his social media accounts with a simple but powerful caption. Met a brave young man named Liam today. He's selling lemonade to save his mom's life. Let's show him the power of kindness. For Mom's Life. The post went viral within hours. The hashtag spread quickly, shared by celebrities, influencers, and people from all over the world. Donations started flooding in, all directed toward Emily's treatment fund. It was overwhelming, the support pouring in from strangers who wanted to help. But Clint wasn't done. He turned to Liam, who was still in shock. Let's keep this going. We'll make sure people know your mom's story. Let's get her the treatment she needs. Liam didn't know what to say. It was beyond anything he had imagined. What started as a small lemonade stand was now reaching people far beyond his town. But there was more to come, much more. The sun was high when Clint Eastwood's black SUV rolled into the sleepy town of Meadowville. It wasn't a flashy arrival by Hollywood standards, just a dusty vehicle that blended in with the rest of the small-town traffic. But for Liam, it was anything but ordinary. As the car parked near the lemonade stand, Liam looked up, surprised by the sudden stop. A tall man dressed casually in jeans and a cowboy hat stepped out. He scanned the area before his eyes landed on the young boy running the stand. "Hey there," the man greeted, his voice steady but warm. Liam, who had seen plenty of faces in the neighborhood, didn't think much of it at first. But then the man smiled, and it hit Liam. The man was familiar. He was Clint Eastwood, the Hollywood legend. Liam blinked, his mouth slightly open in disbelief. The man chuckled at the boy's obvious confusion. "You okay there, kid?" Clint asked, stepping closer to the stand. Hi," Liam stammered, wiping his hands on his shirt. "1 cup's $1 or you can get 2 for $1.50. Clint raised an eyebrow and smiled. 2 cups for $1.50 then. Liam quickly grabbed a cup and began pouring lemonade into it. As he poured, Clint's eyes drifted to the mason jar on the table. "What's this?" Clint asked, pointing at the jar labeled "For Mom's Life." Liam hesitated for a moment before answering. "It's for my mom. She's really sick and I'm trying to raise money to help with her treatment." Clint looked at the boy for a moment, something shifting in his expression. "Your mom, huh?" he asked quietly. "What's her name?" "Emily," Liam replied, his voice smaller now. "She's been really sick for a while. The doctors said she needs a lot of expensive treatments and we don't have the money." He looked down, his voice faltering as he added, "But I'm trying. I'll do whatever it takes." Clint nodded slowly, then took the cup of lemonade Liam handed him. He took a sip, his eyes thoughtful. "You're a good kid, Liam." Liam managed a small smile. "Thanks." Clint glanced around, noticing more people were stopping by, some of them watching with interest. He nodded toward them, then back to the boy. "You mind if I stick around for a bit?" Liam shook his head. "No, not at all." He was still in a bit of shock, but he appreciated the company. Clint set his cup down and sat on the curb, looking at the lemonade stand. "So, how long have you been doing this?" he asked, settling into the moment. Liam told him about the early mornings, squeezing lemons and stirring the lemonade by hand. He explained how things had started slow but were picking up, especially after the news article came out. Clint listened attentively, never interrupting, and when Liam was done, he nodded. "You've got a good heart, Liam," Clint said, "but I think we can do more. Let me see what I can do to help." Liam looked at him, confused. "What do you mean?" Clint pulled out his phone. "I've got an idea. Let's see if we can get the word out. You've got a lot of people who want to help. We just need to get them to see this." Liam watched as Clint took a quick picture of him standing next to the lemonade stand, the mason jar with "For Mom's Life" clearly visible in the frame. Clint typed something on his phone, then hit send. Within seconds, Clint's post appeared on social media. The caption read, "Met a brave young man today. Liam's selling lemonade to help save his mom's life. Let's show him what kindness can do." For Mom's Life. It wasn't long before Clint's post went viral. What started as a small gesture turned into a wave of support from all corners of the country. People shared the story, leaving messages of encouragement. Donations flooded into the account Clint had set up for Emily's treatment, far more than Liam had ever imagined. Clint's influence had done the impossible. Liam's lemonade stand, which had once seemed like a small act of love, was now the center of a nationwide outpouring of support. But Clint wasn't done yet. The actor's deep belief in the power of community led him to take the next step, organizing a fundraiser to help Emily, with the small town of Meadowville as the unlikely backdrop. Liam and Emily had no idea what Clint was planning. Clint wanted it to be a surprise, and he carefully orchestrated every detail. His manager, a professional organizer, helped secure vendors, entertainers, and even a few celebrity friends who were willing to donate their time for the cause. On the day of the event, Clint arrived at Emily and Liam's house early in the morning. He knocked gently on the door, and when Liam answered, he couldn't help but smile. "Hey, kid, how's the stand going?" Clint asked, as if he had no idea how big things had gotten. Liam grinned. "I'm doing okay. People keep coming by, and I think Mom's starting to feel better. Thanks again for everything." Clint's eyes twinkled. "That's great to hear, but I need you to grab your mom and come with me. I've got a surprise." Liam, confused but excited, raced inside to get Emily. She was still weak, but she trusted Liam's judgment, and seeing his excited face brought a smile to hers. She agreed to go with Clint, even if she wasn't sure what was going on. When they arrived in the town square, the sight left them both stunned. Hundreds of people had gathered, with music playing in the background and food trucks lined up for miles. A large banner hung above the stage, with Emily's name printed in bold letters, "For Emily with Love." Liam's heart raced as Clint led them to the stage, his hand on Emily's shoulder. "Welcome to the party, folks." Clint's voice rang out across the square as he grabbed the microphone. The crowd cheered in response. Emily, who had been speechless up until that moment, blinked back tears. She had no idea this many people cared. Clint addressed the crowd. "I met Liam a few days ago, and I was blown away by his courage and love for his mom. Today we're here to show them that we care. Together we can make a difference." The crowd roared in agreement, and the auction began shortly after. Clint, with his characteristic charm, auctioned off rare movie memorabilia and personal experiences with him. The bids were high, and the generosity in the room was overwhelming. Liam, overwhelmed and moved by the kindness surrounding them, stood with Emily on the stage. "Thank you, everyone," Liam's voice cracked as he spoke into the microphone. "I never thought this would happen. I just wanted to help my mom, and now, I don't know what to say except thank you. You've made a big difference in our lives." Emily, too emotional to speak, squeezed Liam's hand. With tears in her eyes, she whispered, "You've given us more than hope." The event raised an incredible amount of money, enough to cover Emily's treatment and more. The news spread quickly, and Meadowville became a symbol of what people could accomplish when they came together for a common cause. Emily's health improved dramatically over the next few months. She regained her strength and was able to resume her work as a teacher, inspiring countless children with her perseverance and kindness. As for Liam, he had become a local hero, his small lemonade stand now a symbol of determination and love. Clint stayed in touch, visiting the family occasionally. He offered advice and encouragement, mentoring Liam as he navigated the challenges of growing up. "You've got a bright future, kid," Clint told him one day. "You've already shown the world what you're capable of. Just keep going." Liam smiled, grateful for Clint's friendship and the life-changing experience he had been through. Months later, as the weather warmed up, Liam set up his lemonade stand again. This time, the sign read, "Lemonade for Everyone's Life." He planned to donate the proceeds to another family in need, inspired by the kindness that had changed his own life. As he poured lemonade for a new customer, a familiar black SUV pulled up once again. Clint stepped out, grinning. "You're back at it, huh?" Liam nodded, his heart swelling with pride. "Helping people feels good." Clint grinned. "I'll take 2 cups this time, kid."